It's big, though, because I can't hardly see it otherwise.
Brandy, you want us just to look at Facebook then?
I've come here tonight with, I'm just going to read it, with mixed feelings. I've been a teacher for 11 years, and 9 of those years have been good ones. And those are the years that Ron's been my principal, 2 at Diamond and 7 here. So it definitely is going to be hard not to be working for him during the 2010-2011 school year. On the other hand, I promised him that I would not write a book about education until he left the Joplin School District. I'm on chapter 3 now. It may seem hard to imagine now, but when I first met Ron back in the 1980s, people were scared to death of it. I was a reporter covering area sports at that time for the Lamar Democrat, and Ron was the only player that I can recall at that time who had a full mustache and a constant scowl on his face during every game of football and basketball. He scared the other 4th graders to death. Ron decided to go into education when he was in high school. One of his coaches put him on the path to being a principal, but only because Ron wasn't paying attention to what he was saying. The exact quote was, "Being a teacher is a rewarding profession. You will be able to reach thousands of children during your career, but being a principal will put hair on your chest." He misunderstood where it would put the hair. And this next one, there's only going to be about 3 or 4 people in here who are going to understand what I'm talking about, but that doesn't stop me a bit. Many people don't know the stress, that the never-ending pressure that a middle school principal must endure. Obviously, a couple other people in here know that, but Ron decided early on that he's not going to take his job home with him. So he devotes his spare time to his lovely wife and his 2 sons, and to a hobby that many of you, including Ron, didn't know that he had. For years, he has been able to ease the tension of his job by building miniature models of bridges. He started small with Show Creek, worked his way up to London Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge. He tried to give up this hobby after he left Diamond, but somehow it followed him to Joplin. I was told last week that he has vowed never again to construct another miniature bridge. His exact words were, "No more tiny bridges for me." By the way, I checked before I came here, and my contract is ironclad for next year. I will be eternally grateful, that Ron gave me my first opportunity to be a classroom teacher. About 2 weeks before the 1999-2000 school year, he hired me to teach creative writing at Diamond Middle School. My understanding is there were 3 candidates for the job, and the parole board turned down the other 2. Ron was the principal who taught me that it's always okay to go the extra mile to help a kid. And I believe since some of these students I'm going to talk about are now adults and adultesses, that I'm going to go ahead and use he taught me it's always okay to go the extra mile to help a kid, but it's never okay to call Eric Bateman a jackass.
That would be a
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about any Joplin students. They're still kids. Ron showed a great deal of patience with me during that first year, and I'll never understand why. Because at one point during the first semester, 2 8th grade girls asked me if I would write them a pass to run around the trailer where my classroom was located. Common sense would indicate to you that that would not be a good idea. But I had never written a pass for 2 girls to run around a trailer, so I filled it out, and they ran around the trailer and ran right into Ron. He was kind enough to send them back into the trailer with a warning, and about a month later he came into my classroom to evaluate me. A few days after that, we talked over the evaluation. It was a positive evaluation, thank you. But as I was heading out the door, he says, "Mr. Turner, did you sign a pass for Candace Klaus and Stephanie Darr to run around your trailer?" And I said, "Yes, I did." He said, "Never do that again." And to this day, I have never written a pass for anyone to run around a trailer. And we all know that with everything that has happened with our reading promotion over the years, that Ron has never been afraid to embarrass himself. But one thing he will not do is embarrass a kid. When I was teaching at Diamond, I had a habit of, believe it or not, I always dressed up every day. Even when they had blue jean days, I would be dressed in slacks. It was the old newspaper experience. But one day we were heading on a field trip to Fort Scott, and I put on blue jeans because I knew they were going to be doing a scavenger hunt there. The 7th grade girl sees me talking to Ron outside of his office. She walks up to us and she says, "Mr. Turner, I've never seen you in pants before." Ron did not say a word, and thankfully he did not take that statement the wrong way. Now, if I can turn, and this is going to end, I promise you. If I can turn a bit serious for a second, and I'll let you be the judge of that. While I owe Mr. Mitchell a great deal for giving me my start as a teacher, I owe him even more for giving me my second chance as a teacher.